Hello everybody and welcome to Sewing with Miss Rice. At this point you should have sewn and trimmed the fabric from the first video. If you have not done that, please make sure to go back and do this. Alright, so first step is messing with the straps. They are currently inside out, which is not going to work for us. So we're going to very carefully and slowly put them right side out. If any of you have ever had tights that were inside out, you have an idea what this is like, except it's a lot smaller and more fiddly. So you can see using my fingers only works so far, so something I like to do is get a stick that you can kind of push in there to kind of force it up. You can use the blunt end of a pencil, a marker with this cap on, a lot of different things. This, however, is really time consuming no matter what you do. It usually takes me at least a good 4 to 5 minutes per strap to do. You may be faster. That said, perhaps listen to a little bit of music. It's the one time in class I'll let you listen to your music is doing this. Okay, so now I have both my straps done thanks to Movie Magic. And the thing is, you notice that we have the seam there. And what we actually want for the correct look for the straps is to have it where the seam is up on the top. So we're just going to lay them out carefully. It's not hard to do now that we actually turn them inside out. They're kind of fluffy. And we are going to iron them flat to get that really nice good crease we'll need to have really smooth looking handles when we sew everything on. So this will just take about a minute and then you'll be ready for pinning. Okay, already done. Movie magic again. So as you can see on my strap, I have my exterior fabric, meaning the fabric will be on the outside, and my lining. So first thing I am actually going to do is I'm going to take my lining. You can see that it is still currently inside out, and we are going to flip it right side out here in a moment. As you can see, it's all nice and sewn up and trimmed. Trimming is very important to have a smooth looking bag. I have gotten the question of what should I do if for some reason this bag is bigger than the other one, and all I can tell you is try to not let that happen. The interior should be the same size or a little smaller than your exterior. So I've flipped it inside out, and now I'm going to put nice side to nice side. So you have the nice side on the inside of the bag, nice side is on the inside out side, or the right side out bag. So we're going to make sure nice side to nice side is touching. So we'll be putting the bag in to where the both openings will be towards the top, of course. And this will be for the purposes of sewing. So you'll want to take some time, make sure your seams are all lined up, give it a little fluff. And there, it already almost looks like a real bag, right? But now we have to do the straps. The straps are a bit trickier. First thing I suggest is make sure your straps are the same way. And I recommend rolling up the end for easy tucking. What you are going to do here in a minute is going to seem a little weird, but you have to remember we're going to turn this whole thing inside out in the next video once we're done sewing. So you're going to place the straps inside the bag and just very carefully kind of sandwich it between the interior fabric and the exterior fabric, the inside fabric and outside fabric. Once you find about where you want it, and forget the camera jiggle, I bumped the camera there, you just carefully pin the straps in place, and you're only going to focus really on pinning the straps for the moment because you want to get them positioned where you want. So again, make sure everything is where you want it, that it looks reasonably flat. Pin it together, and we have that all together. You're going to see that we still have a little bit of a hole there. That's fine. When you sew, I suggest that you go ahead and leave a hole about there in between the two straps. Now you get to do it the other side. Same thing. Make sure the ends are laying down the same way. Roll up the end of the strap and tuck it in. And at this point, I'd like to point out my straps are actually longer than necessary. My straps are closer to 38 inches in length. And I do want to point out that this is perfectly fine. It just means you're going to have a bag that you can actually sling over your shoulder versus hold in your hand, and that is perfectly okay. The main thing is you want to make sure the straps are at least 27 inches long. Now, as you can see at this point, I am trying to very carefully match up the handles. You want the handles to be at about the same point on both sides. So I'm kind of laying it on top of the fabric, checking where it's going to be, and very carefully pinning it in. So we have the first one there, and now we're going to do the second one. Make sure it lines up nicely, and you'll have to forgive me, it was a little awkward trying to do it at this angle. So again, pin it up, and then just make sure it's going to stay in place. After this, the only thing you are going to be doing is you are going to go and make sure that the rest of it is pinned the way you want it. I recommend at least 3 to 4 pins per side just to make sure everything stays together. Make sure you don't pin all the way through all the fabric because that's going to cause you some headaches later. Get another quick pin there. And you can also see a spot where I probably should have sewn up to the top, so be aware of that. Another quick pin, and I believe I'm just going to do one more pin right over here just for good measure. I like doing them by the seams because it helps hold it in place. When you sew this, you're going to go around a circle. Okay guys, so at this point we are pretty much done. So here's the recap, and until next time, happy sewing!